What's up, guys? It's Dorian. So if you guys follow me on my channel, you know that I made the switch from Gnome to KDE. I've really liked it. It's been 3.5 weeks. Coming up on Saturday-ish, it would be 4 weeks. But I do have an issue, and it's not because I don't like it. As you can possibly see, I'm looking at my recording feed here, and of course it's not showing up now, but there is a lot of problems when screen recording with flickering and whatnot. I have tried everything, and the only thing there, I just saw it flickered on the recording up here. I have tried absolutely everything to get it to not flicker, and there's nothing that I can do. So the only thing that works is to completely disable the compositor, which means there's no transparencies or anything. But not only that, there's a lot of screen tearing when moving things around, and everything just looks a lot uglier. Also, when you open a window, instead of it nicely appearing, I'll get to another issue here in a second, which is what I can't show you now. Instead of the window nicely fading in and appearing because of the compositor, when you don't have the compositor, the top bar, the window border shows up first, and then it kind of fills in the rest of the window, and it just looks clunky and it looks really bad. And to me, that's not acceptable. So unfortunately, because I use this machine to do all my recordings, I just can't use it. I've done some videos on updating and whatnot. If you look at my last video, which was the must-have Linux apps, which was recorded in KDE, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'll put the link up in the top here. A lot of window flickering and even zooming in and out, trying to make nice videos. It just ruined the whole thing, and I'm actually very unhappy with the quality of this video. So to me, the only solution, if I want to stick with one of the heavier, more featured desktops, is honestly to go back to Gnome. I could switch to XFCE, I could switch to another lighter desktop, which I'm also considering. However, for now, I had to come back to Gnome. So, not really something that I wanted to do, because like I said, I was really enjoying KDE, but one of the things that bugged me, there were a couple of things, playing with extensions, not extensions, what do they call them, widgets, where it would crash, but it happens when you start playing around. But one of the things was, in a multi-monitor setup, for some reason, every time I opened a window in KDE, it would open on my other monitor. And now with Gnome, everything is opening in my current window, which I am recording, which is what I want and how it should work. So that's something I could never figure out. I'm sure there was something in KDE, some kind of setting to say that this is the main monitor, even though whatever I found, I had it set that way. I don't know. But unfortunately, my main machine that I do everything on will be back to Gnome. So I have some things to do, partition-wise, decisions to make, and I'm going to copy over everything that I did previously in KDE. Any graphics I did, any of that good stuff, I'm going to copy back into here so that I can wipe the KDE partition. I'm going to keep using KDE on one of my PCs because it works very well. And that flickering I'm talking about, guys, is not on my screen. I don't see it. It's when I'm recording, then it shows up in the recording. So in the preview window in OBS, I can see it in this preview window, but I'm not actually seeing it on my screen. And it's recording these flickers and transparency problems or whatever. So just so you know, it's not a graphics issue. It's well, it is a graphics issue, but it's a screen capturing issue. that I just couldn't solve without disabling the compositor. So I have my Manjaro KDE partition here, which is 80 gigs, which I'm going to wipe, and I have to decide what I'm going to put on here. So if you have any suggestions of what you want me to try on hardware, I'm thinking maybe do Pop! OS on hardware, since it has an NVIDIA version, which is supposed to work, so I can see if Optimus works out of the box. Maybe the Elementary 5 beta, which I already did a Elementary 5 sort of beta video. Kind of curious, how does it compare to the version that I was using, which was just kind of hacked into Ubuntu? So might be curious. I might check that out. Yeah, so see here the video from a week ago, Elementary 5. So I might do that. If you have any suggestions, just let me know in the comments below. One thing I did want to mention, going back to my must-have Linux apps videos, was when I was talking about Photoshop. It was actually Play on Linux, and it was me using Photoshop. And the whole thing about open source and proprietary and whatever, and I said, you know, there's just no replacement because you can't do the text effects and whatnot in GIMP. And that's true. But I want to give a big thanks to Bobby Paycheck, who made a recommendation for Krita. Now, knowing Linux programs, I don't know if it's Krita or Krita. Who knows? Krita. I'm just going to call it that. If it's pronounced a different way, let me know. These Linux pronunciations are killing me. Anyways, Krita. So I installed it before and I played with it. This was a long time ago, and I never thought much of it, to be honest. I'm not trying to sound mean, but I thought it was okay. This is for people who like to draw and do very artsy stuff. So I said, okay, well, this isn't what I need it for. So I kind of just, you know, said, okay, I'll stick with GIMP because it's not something that I would use. So this is it. And as you can see, the loading of images takes quite a while. It's a little bit slow, but comparing this to Photoshop, I must say it is very, very good. One of the things that I like about Photoshop is the text effects, and it's something that I do on all my thumbnails and in a lot of imagery that I do with different layering and whatnot. So let me just give you an example here. If I go to text, if I go to layer style, it has all the same styles as Photoshop. So it has stroke. It takes a second, but you can see it shows up. So it is dynamic. It's not something that you set and then you can't change it anymore, kind of like GIMP is. Unfortunately, when you put text in, it turns into an image and then that's it. You can't edit the text anymore, especially after you've applied effects to it and whatnot. So I can do shadowing and whatnot. And it, like I said, you see, it takes a little while for it to show up, but it does. So it's okay. It's not as powerful as Photoshop for sure. But you know what? It's free, it's open source, and therefore I definitely recommend it, and I definitely support it. So I've applied my effects here, and now I can still edit the text. And now it's not going to let me edit the text. Okay, there we go. So I can still edit the text and say, LXDE, save. And it will change the text with the effects still applied. So this is exactly what I needed. This is the thing that kept me glued to Photoshop and what kept me away from using GIMP for my thumbnails. I used to use it and it was okay, but if I made a spelling mistake, I basically had to start over and you know, erase all the text and then start over again. So yeah, really cool things here. All the effects can be edited after the fact. So you can see it's updating here in the bottom. A little bit slow to process. I don't think it can use the GPU. I tried running this with Optirun so that it would use my NVIDIA GPU, and it didn't really seem to make a big difference. So happy with that. Thank you very much, Bobby. And I'm going to keep trying to use this from now on, and then hopefully I can get rid of Photoshop and I'll be back to all open source software again and no more proprietary stuff. But anyways, I've been asked about Photoshop a few times. It's on Play on Linux, super easy to install. I don't want to get into how to do it because honestly, it is that easy. It is, you click install, you pick your piece of software that you want to install, and then you point to the setup file. I don't know how much easier it can be. So, and now, yeah, see, pick your programs, go through the process. Now, to be clear, Photoshop, you need to also have a license for. So I used my old license, it still worked, and it let me install it on Wine. So it's not free just because I have it on Linux, you still have to buy it. So just get that out of the way right there and make that clear. So anyways, yeah, back to Gnome, still looking like KDE, which is a shame, but you know what? It is what it is, and I'll just have to roll with it. In other news, Michael did receive his USB stick, so thank you very much for playing, everybody, and I don't know what my next giveaway is going to be. I haven't decided yet. If you have any ideas, put them down in the comments. Remember, I'm paying out of my pocket, so no cars, no hoverboards, no time machines, no gold bars, none of that stuff, right? So just giving you some ideas, just throw them down there and let me know what you guys think would be something good to do a little giveaway with. Haven't decided yet when I'm going to do it. It's only been, what, 2 weeks since I hit 1,000 subscribers? Not even, I'm not sure. And I'm already at 1106, so that's awesome. So thank you guys, thanks for subscribing. Thank you so much for sharing. And I want to give an extra special thank you to my patrons, who are the producers of my channel: Carl Schneider, George Maris, Matt Hartley, Kit Waltz, and Says. Thank you so much. If you guys would like to help contribute to my channel, head on over to patreon.com/dorian.slash and throw me a couple bucks a month and have your name here up on the big screen with these guys. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to click like, don't forget to share, and do not forget to subscribe. And until next time, bash on.